Hey guys, I'm Julia Leeds.
And I'm Emma Ladd.
And today we're here on behalf of the 62nd Northwood University International Auto Show. And we have the operations team and the divisionals joining us today. You guys want to
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Julia and Emma. I'm Chase, Chase Southwick. I am the Chief Operations Officer of the show this year. So I kind of oversee all the new card divisions of the show. And I get to work with my awesome divisionals over here.
Yeah, so my name is Carver Patel. I'm a sophomore here at Northwood. I'm the Asian Division Chair this year. So basically all I do is I work under him and I get all the Asian manufacturers signed and to come to the show.
My name is Breanne. I'm a second-year student here at Northwood University, and I'm the European Divisional. So I look over all the new cars for the European Division and work with the dealers and try to get the contracts signed and everything like that, and look over the captains.
Yeah, I'm Gio Crowley. I'm a junior at Northwood, and I'm the domestic divisional for this year's show. I pretty much do the same thing that these two do, except just for the domestic brands. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Nice. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. We're happy to have you here. So, what is the process like when reaching out and coordinating with dealerships to bring vehicles to the show?
Well, it's almost like starting fresh every year, even though we might have dealers that we've used in the past, obviously consistently, especially the local dealers. Some may not be as receptive to working with us, so it is an interesting process. And I'm sure some of the divisionals can attest to that with some of new dealers that we've had to bring in as well, new brands, and also dealerships will straight up tell you no, and we got to go find a whole new group. So I don't know if you guys want to share some of your experiences.
Yeah, I mean, I've been pretty blessed this year. I haven't really had any issues with getting in contact and getting those contracts signed for them to come to the show. But it's a lot easier than you may think to get them here. So.
I've had a little bit different experience. We had a new Porsche dealer this year, which was really easy to work with. Got the contract signed basically right away. We did have to find a new Alpha dealership this year, but luckily the new dealer was willing to coordinate with us. There have been some dealers that have been a little bit hard to hear back from, but we ended up just going into the dealership, and then they were really cooperative. So that was kind of nice to be able to see that face to face and just kind of work with them from there.
Yeah, being the domestic division, I work with a lot of local dealers, so I don't do as much over the phone or over the email conversations, really. It's more in person, getting out to the dealership, being there face to face. So I guess really one of the hurdles that I've ran into recently is kind of just scheduling time to be able to go in there and meet with these GMs and these sales managers and stuff to get these vehicles and get the contract signed. So, but other than that, it's been really smooth. Everyone's really amazing to work with. It's a great opportunity for me.
Awesome.
Good, I love that. And Chase, I know you kind of touched a little bit on some new brands that we'll be seeing at the show. So do you want to kind of expand on that?
Yes, so a little sneak peek. It's not official yet, but today Breanne and I actually just signed NUIAS, which is a brand new manufacturer that is producing a new version of the original Land Rover Defender. So we're super excited about that. They are really new to the States, a British brand. And we are going to be the first auto show in the country to showcase their new Quartermaster, which is the new truck version. So we are super excited about that. They actually just emailed us back, like an hour ago, signed the contract. So we're super excited.
Yeah.
And then
Really excited about
fingers
that.
crossed this year, we're also working with LaFontaine Aston Martin to bring Aston Martin to the show for the first time
Love
ever.
it.
So
Fingers crossed.
fingers crossed. So lots of exciting stuff that we've got going on.
Yes,
this
lots
year.
of good things to look
So,
forward to.
Definitely.
Kind of going off of that, like what's the process like when reaching out to these dealerships and coordinating with them to bring these vehicles to the show?
Well, we have contacts from the previous years, obviously, with like emails and phone numbers. But obviously, the board has a very high turnover rate because people graduate, new people move in. So you have to basically email and reintroduce yourself. And the dealership might have worked with a completely different person last year. So you have to kind of re-establish that relationship with them. But a lot of dealers are receptive because a lot of these dealers actually are Northwood alumni. So they are super excited to deal with, like Joe Cawley of Cawley Ferrari, for example.
Yes.
He's super excited, super receptive. But some dealers, you kind of have to explain what the show is because they might not have known, or maybe there's a new manager. So some you have to do a little bit more in-depth explanation, but some are super receptive and super excited right off the bat. So
Yeah, I think it's great though, like you were saying with alumni, and they're super receptive, and I think it's great to keep up those relationships and have alumni involved, many years down the road as well, and like building those connections too with the students can go a long way. You never know what doors will open. So I think it's a great opportunity. But so kind of speaking on relationships, how do you guys build strong relationships with the dealers and the manufacturers for an event like this?
I go.
Yeah.
So you'll actually be surprised, kind of going off of like kind of the last question, how many times you'll walk into a dealer and you'll be like, "Hey, I'm from Northwood," and they'll be like, "Oh my God, like I graduated from Northwood." Like,
Mm-hmm.
and that really is like a really good way to get like the conversations rolling. And like usually like in my experience, I've had like 2 or 3 people that are from Northwood, so they already like have an idea about the show and like know what it's about and they kind of know what to expect. So it makes like my, at least from my end, like building that relationship, it's really easy because they already know like what to, like I said, what to expect, everything that goes with along with the show. So just like building those relationships, and even with like people from outside, like when they see that it's a 100% student ran auto show in the middle of Michigan, like who doesn't want to be a part of that, right? Like it's such a
Exactly.
unique experience that like it only happens here, and we do it big and we do it the best. So it's just, it's amazing.
Yes, we do. And so once a dealership agrees to bring vehicles, what are the next steps that you can make sure that they get here on time and everything is good on our end?
Yeah. So once the dealership signs the contract, agreeing to their tent size and all that other stuff, then we basically are kind of on autopilot with the dealer until we move closer to the show.
Mhm.
And then it's usually the captain of the team as well as the divisionals that coordinate picking up the vehicles, usually the Monday, Tuesday before the show, and then we store them on campus until actual show date when we move them on. So once the dealer signs, it's pretty much on autopilot. They kind of choose what cars they want to send and how many, and then we send students down to pick them up or they transport them to us. So
No, and that's definitely like super exciting for the students, the board, the captains, everyone involved, because that really kind of signifies like, wow, show is here. Like
Yes.
once the cars arrive, like it's
Awesome.
game on.
Yeah, show
Yes.
begins. Yes.
Definitely, yeah. So it's something to look forward to. I know Move On is always fun.
That's one of my
Um,
favorite parts.
Yes, definitely. But so how do you organize and manage all of those incoming vehicles, especially when they're coming from multiple brands in different locations? And what does it look like when they get to campus as well?
yeah.
I'll touch on a little bit. It's basically, yes, as divisionals, it's our responsibility to make sure they all get on campus, but also a lot of it's part of the captain's role, and being in contact with the dealer and organizing when they're gonna be bringing to campus. But most cars, like Chase said, are gonna be here Monday, Tuesday, week of show, and then delivered back on Sunday or Monday the following weekend.
In the past, they pass on things like Excel spreadsheets and all that. And it's, you're able to keep track of what vehicles are where and how many there are. And just over the week, I mean, you're surrounded by it. So you just know what's where and everything. And it's just much easier.
I mean, you guys were all captains last year, so you got to experience it and kind of see it firsthand. So that's what's nice about the board is a lot of people who have come up are either captains before or were involved with auto shows. So you kind of know the drill, know the process. I was in Breanne last year's European divisional, so I kind of got to see that. So you at least know what's going on, know the process. It's not like you're just dumped into it and have to figure it out. So we do try to organize it as best as we can with our experience. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And I feel like the board is definitely full of just like experienced people who like already have some insight and like kind of know what they're doing a little bit. And I mean, there's always great leadership and just insights that everybody else can give. So
And that's always great too, because then it's not just like the one person that has been on the board before. Like everyone has experience in the auto show. Everyone's been around the
Exactly.
business. So it's like you can really go to anyone with a question, not just like the head of your division or like someone that's involved with like exactly what you're doing. Like everyone has experience everywhere, and that's really nice to have that.
So speaking of dealers, what do you think they look for when deciding whether or not to participate in NUIAS?
well, obviously dealers are for-profit organizations, and I mean they have their goodwill and everything like that. But I think they also look, what can I get out of it? Especially the local dealers looking for their publicity, their marketing to local members of Midland, but then
Mhm.
you've got like the dealers who are down in Metro Detroit. So they're like, what could I get out of it? Because, obviously not everybody up in Midland is looking to buy a brand new $500,000 Rolls Royce. So what is in it for them necessarily? But the Northwood students really are are unlike any other college experience you get anywhere. And I think they're
Mhm.
looking for great talent to come and work for them.
Yeah.
So I think them investing their money and their time
Mhm.
into Northwood will help them gain it back with hopefully students seeing these companies and wanting to go work for them in the future. So
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of touching on what Chase ended with there, that's a really big pitch I have for these dealers is like you never know when that moment will be for a person if like that spark that passion for the automotive industry, and like bringing these brands and bringing these cars and like this amazing event that we put together, like especially at the school we go to, like you never know what kind of job opportunities you can come for. Just like someone working at, say, a BMW booth, and they're like, wow, these cars are really cool. I really love this. Like, this is for me. And then you already have a connection into the industry, into a
Yeah.
brand that you like. I mean, it's truly amazing, not just for the dealers, but also for our students who are looking for jobs in the future.
Yeah, it's basically
I
just like a huge networking event. And
Exactly.
that's like something that the dealerships definitely want to get out of it is like publicity, networking, finding these young automotive students who like really do want to get into industry and just kind of rolling from there. So,
and really the automotive industry is all about relationships.
100%. Yeah.
As you have touched on, I mean, it is really all about, you never know who you might meet, you never know who you might, bump into, and they might be your boss someday, or you might be their boss
Exactly.
someday. So you really never, it's a small world, the automotive industry.
Yeah, it really is.
Yes. So what's one thing that you have learned from working directly with the dealerships and handling the real world logistics of things?
Something that I kind of dealing with the dealerships is like we so a struggle for us as a team is kind of like we have no idea what kind of inventory they're going to have at the time of the show, because their lots are always moving. Like there's always new cars coming out. There's always like whatever the obstacle may be, you never really know exactly what inventory you're going to get. So that's one thing that I've really been like learning about and kind of adapting to, I guess, because I mean, for our captains, like you try to give them an idea of what they're going to have, but you really don't know. And another thing is kind of just like the timing of my visits to the dealerships, like with me going in person all the time. Like I've ran into a situation where I came in right at the end of the month and it just wasn't a good time for the dealer. So like kind of just learning the busy times of the month for the dealers and like just kind of going with the flow and like being ready to adapt to any changes. I feel like the automotive industry is unique in the way that it's always moving and it's always changing. So that's definitely a big thing for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think I definitely agree with that. And along with that, talking to people is a big thing. I mean, you have to be able to sell them on the show to come here. I mean, I'm a 20-year-old kid. I get you can still call me a kid. I'm in college, but I'm talking to these people who've been in the industry longer than I've been alive, and trying to sell them on something like this. You can kind of learn how to talk to someone who's above you in a way. So
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a huge learning experience. No matter, what position you're in, you really can learn a lot and gain a lot that'll help you in the future. And you never know what potential opportunities will present themselves as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
But well, last question for you guys. We have a fun question. So if you could describe Northwood's Auto Show in one word, what would it be?
I have to say family, because
Maybe.
we might not all know each other on the board, especially when I was on the board last year. A lot of the other divisionals that I worked with were seniors or juniors. I didn't really know them, but we ended up becoming such close friends by the end of it, and I still talk to them all the time to this day. And even, my divisionals, I mean, we're all good friends before we were all on the board together, but I think it really helped bring us even closer together, and now we're just really close with each other, and it really is being a big family on the board. So I
I
love
love
it.
that. That's a good one.
I think I'll keep it simple and I'll say just fun. I mean, it's a lot of work, but like it's all fun work. It's
It is.
like an extra thing along with school, and I do it with like my friends and the people I love. So
Yeah.
what more could you ask for?
Aw, that's so sweet.
The one word I would use is rewarding. I feel like we get to network with dealers. The time of the show, obviously, we get to meet new people. And there are obviously new students coming into Northwood. They get to see the show for the first time, and it's just a great place to be. Everyone's smiling and just happy to be there. So I honestly think it's really rewarding to see all the hard work that everybody, puts together throughout the whole entire year planning for the auto show. And just to get to see it come to life it's great.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go with a little unique one. I'm gonna go with trailblazing.
Ooh,
Okay.
fancy.
I kind of feel like we're kind of setting the tone, not only in the automotive industry, but just like in the business industry in general, with Northwood and what they do. Like, where else do you see such a big, crucial event to a university that's 100% run by students, you know? And like the truly special thing about Northwood is they really allow us to like get our hands dirty in the industry and like really get real world experience before we go out and pursue our careers, you know, because it's in comparison to just sitting in a classroom full of 300 people, you know, like Northwood really gives that unique experience. And like everywhere I go, everywhere I explain the auto show to, like all these business leaders, they're like, this is really amazing what you guys are doing and how much experience you guys get just in 4 years at college. And some people even 3 with our accelerated program.
Mhm.
So it's really, I'm really blessed to be in this situation and to be at a university where they really allow the students to have a face and they really allow us to put on such a big event that's so crucial to our university.
Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing answers, guys. Thank you
Yes.
so much for joining us
you.
today
Yes.
and answering everybody's
So
questions.
much.
We really appreciate it. So thank you guys.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.